Are you ready to let the good times roll? Hey, music fans, welcome back to Soundlab Studios. Today we are talking about the 1978 debut album from The Cars. And man, am I excited about this video. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. It's just really catchy, really great. The Cars are kind of what you would call like one of the first new wave bands. But honestly, I kind of feel like it's a little unfair to label them as that because they're a good mix of rock, pop, and new wave. So there's kind of something for everybody on this album. But joining us today is Jason, the Old Millennial, Bryer's Music Showcase, and Nick to review this classic album. Do you guys have any thoughts about the album before we get into the review?
Well, for me, the first time I ever heard the Cars in general, when I first saw this album cover, I'm like, I don't think the Cars would be my kind of thing. But my dad was like, hey, you want to listen to the Cars? And he played like the greatest hits and a bunch of great stuff. I forgot which, it's like there's like one with like the hands and stuff. And 6 out of like the 9 tracks off this album are on there. And I'm like, wow. And then when I saw the record, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get into the debut album because so many people are saying, hey, the debut album's the best. It's amazing, And I'm like, you know what? Let's get into it. And I listened to it. I'm like, wow, this whole record is like so good. It's like, even though 6 out of the 9 tracks are, well, to me, it's like a greatest hits, including like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, Rick Ocasek has joked in interviews that this album should be titled The Cars' Greatest Hits because of how good it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe if, like, the 3 greatest hits from, like, Candio were on it, then it would definitely be a greatest hits, but, yeah.
Throw in, like, You Might Think and Who's Gonna Drive You Home, and you've pretty much got the greatest hits.
Basically.
Yeah, I wasn't really familiar with the Cars. Like, I've heard that name before, I think, but I don't know. It's one of those bands that kind of just I never catched on growing up. And so it seemed like it was less than a year ago. I remember I was watching, Rich Strickler, I believe, on his channel, and he was talking to somebody, and they were talking, and they mentioned Cars, the debut album, being this really good album. And I was like intrigued. I was like, like I don't really know anything about the Cars. I think the Cars was like this 80s band that I just don't know a lot about, even though this starts in the 70s. And I was like, really, the Cars? Like I didn't really have any expectations for him. And then I was like, well, I'll check this album out. And of course, as soon as it started, I'm like, oh, I know this song. And then the next song, oh, I know this song. And then the next song, oh yeah, I've heard this song before. And pretty soon I'm like, man, these are good songs. Like, I was a Cars fan, I didn't even know what it felt like. And so it was like, listening to this first album was like a really surprised me. Like I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. And so I was like, wow, you know what? Yeah, this was a pretty good album. Like, and it's such a unique album sound. Like, I guess you said new wave. That's what I keep seeing. I saw someone said it was rock, guitar rock or guitar rock mixed with synth pop or something like that. And I was like, yeah, because there's like a lot of synthesizer sound to it that makes it kind of unique to me. Like I don't know if I just don't listen to a lot of this type of music. Because I know we talked about The Police, I think was kind of supposed to be part of that new wave or something like that. And it kind of reminds me of like Talking Heads, maybe. It was kind of sounding like that. I don't know. I'm not as familiar with this era of music, so definitely I love the uniqueness of it.
Yeah, and for me, the Cars has always been a band that was brought up when I first started getting into music. Of course, my mom would recommend me stuff, and the Cars was always the one band she would recommend because her and her brothers would always listen to the Cars. And so, but I ended up kind of putting them off for a while before I actually started diving in. And I think it was like maybe 2 years ago I listened to the album in full, And at first, I was kind of like, okay, it's pretty good, but it started real over the years. It's just a real grower. Like the more you listen to it, like the more you really start to enjoy it. So I have a much better appreciation for this album as a whole.
Yeah, for me, when I first heard the album, the 6 big hits
Yeah.
I love, but then like the 3 deep cuts, which we'll be going over those. I like 2 of the 3 deep cuts. I'm like, yeah, they're all right songs, but like now they became basically my 2 favorite songs from the album, and it's crazy how that happens, but yeah, that's how I feel.
For me, I hadn't really listened to them a lot, but I heard just what I needed on the radio because you hear that all the time. And before it was just a song that kind of played in the background, but then when I started listening to it, I listened to that guitar solo in the middle, and I thought, you know what? This is like one of the most underrated guitar solos I've ever heard. It's not really flashy or anything, but like the melody just hooks you in, and especially that lick that goes like boo doo 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 woo. That part. I'm like, that's a good lick right there. And it's really a short guitar solo. But the guitar solo on Just What I Needed made me seek out the whole album. And when I listened to the whole album, I thought, what the heck is this? Like, a lot of the songs were good, but then some of the songs I thought, these songs are really weird. But then, like, whenever I started thinking about it, I thought, who else was doing stuff like this? And in my opinion, this album started the 80s 2 years early. This and like Van Halen's first album in 78 kind of took the direction of where popular music was heading. The Cars with the synth pop and Van Halen with like the shreddy guitar rock.
Yeah.
That and Led Zeppelin's In Through the Outdoor also kind of like was like pre-80s stuff. Like especially I always forget it's like Kiros Lombra. That song to me is like it's 80s written all over it, but it's not an 80s song.
It pretty much sounds like what they would have sounded like in the 80s if they would have continued.
Yep.
Which we are going to review them pretty soon, starting with the first album, and probably sometime mid-June, early July. But tonight we are reviewing the Cars, so let's let the good times roll.
Let the good times roll.
Yep, the first track. I think it's a really great opener. Really solid, great to a career. Really, just really solid stuff. It was definitely one of those songs when I first heard it. I'm just like, wow, this is so good. I can't believe I've been putting off the Cars for so long. Now it's been a while because I've listened to it a while. But like when I was like in like junior or senior year of high school, I think it was senior year, either that or sophomore. I forgot which year. I'm like, can't believe I've been putting these guys off for so long, and this is so good.
I really like. Bryer, you can go ahead.
Oh yeah. So yeah, pretty much what Nick was saying. Like it is a very great introduction song. Like this is like the pretty much a good way to sum up them as a band at that point. And lyrically, it's pretty kind of cool. It's kind of like Rick Ocasek, because Rick Ocasek is kind of known for writing very sarcastic lyrics, and this is basically his take on the rock and roll lifestyle. Telling him to brush his hair and stuff like that. Like kind of a little bit of humor to it, but still a little bit of satire to it. But yeah, it's a great introduction song, and the backing vocals, of course, and throughout this whole album, the backing vocals are pretty prominent because this was produced by Roy Thomas Baker, who, of course, as a Queen fan, you would know that he produced a lot of Queen's albums in the 70s. So a lot of those layered vocals are very much a trademark of his production style. So I've always enjoyed that aspect of the Cars.
Yeah, I agree. He produced for Queen really well, and he did them really well too.
Bryer took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was just about to talk about, was the layered vocals on there and the harmonies, which really kind of make this album. And the great production on here. Like the production is something that I've never heard anything else like before. I think he also did a few Journey records, Infinity and Evolution as well.
I believe so. Yeah, he did.
Great albums.
But great production on this song, very catchy. When I first listened to it, I knew this was a big hit, but I actually hadn't heard this song before. And my favorite part, of course, is the big layered vocals where they come in where he goes, "Let the good times roll." And the synthesizer. Really cool. It's just the perfect opening song for this album, kind of just saying let the good times roll, like there's going to be good times here on the album.
Yeah.
Get ready to enjoy the album.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the Cars.
Yeah. Good introduction. Yeah. We say Orkisak, whatever, is like the main songwriter, and is Or like the main singer? Is his
It's
vocal
50-50. Ocasek and or split up the vocals about evenly on their albums, which probably would be a good time for me to introduce to those who don't know the Cars. I actually don't know all the band members. They're listed here. They're listed here. I know Rick Ocasek is the lead singer and the rhythm guitarist. Ben Orr is the other lead singer and the bass player, and Elliot Easton is the guitar player. I don't know who the drummer or the keyboard players' names are, but they're all really good.
Yeah, so on drums you have David Robinson on drums and percussion.
Not the NBA player, but the drummer.
Yeah. And then for keyboards you have Greg Hawkes.
Yeah, Greg Hawkes on keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need to know their names because they're a very integral and how would you say that word? A very important part of this band.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about the Cars in this album is they do such a good job of intros. Intros are absolutely amazing throughout, like especially their hit songs. They can always start with some kind of guitar synth thing, and it's just absolutely amazing. Like this, I like. Yeah, this is the beginning of the album, and it just hooks me like just like that with the and I'm like, oh, sounds so cool. And then you just throw in the vocals, and I don't know what it is. The singer has such a unique sound to him that I absolutely love. That fits, of course, their style, I guess. Like I said, it almost reminds me of like Talking Heads or something like that. He has kind of that kind of sound to him. I don't know, but when he comes in, it's just guitar and let the good times roll, and like it sounds so good, just that. But then it builds because it's just him, and then the other voices and the drums come in and everything else comes in. So I love how, and they do this a lot in a lot of their songs. They start off just guitar and vocals, and then they build on it. And I just absolutely love it. It sounds really, really good. I just love this intro. It's really great.
I think Jason's got it perfectly. The hooks on this album, like do 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 or do 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 do.
Yeah, and the claps.
Bum 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 bum, or like a boom bum 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 bum. Like these songs are going to get stuck in your head if not for just like the main hook of the song.
Yeah, just many of these songs got stuck in my head this week.
Oh yeah.
All right, shall we move on?
Well, one more last thing I want to add is, to me, an opener to an album can make or break a record. Like, like sometimes like a lot of bands can like choose like a decent opener, and the record's good, but then like it's like, yeah, I could take or leave the opener. And this Cars band is like, no, we're starting off with a banger, but
yeah,
them and Led Zeppelin with the Good Times, Bad Times.
Yeah, we need to have like a top 10 best first songs on your first album. More Than a Feeling, Good Times, Bad Times, Let the Good Times Roll. Yeah. Even like I Saw Her Standing There.
I just Saw Her Standing There is a great one. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. To me, Out in the Street by The Who. That's to me though.
All right, we are now moving on to She's My Best Friend's Girl, but she used to be mine. I was singing that in the car before I even listened to the album, just because I knew I was going to be hearing it later.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you mentioned the chorus, because actually the lyrics were kind of an afterthought. Like he had Rick Ocasek wrote this again, and he actually had no idea what to do for the chorus, and so that was like the first words that came out.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic track. Like you listen to you listen to the first track and you're like, wow, like how can you follow up that song? And then you just get this song and you're just like, wow. Oh my god. Like this is gonna be a fantastic record. Like sometimes like an album could like start off great, like an album could start off with a great song but then have like a weak follow up. Like this song, Good Times Roll, and then like followed up by my best friend's girlfriend, and that reminds me of Who's Next when I first heard it. Like when I first heard
with Bargain,
O'Reilly, then Bargain right after. I'm just like, wow, like just that's how I knew it was gonna be a great record. I'm like,
or Baby, I'm gonna leave you right after Good Times, Bad Times.
Yeah, That's just the feeling I get. It's just like after one amazing track, just followed up right with
Peace of mind after More Than a Feeling.
Yeah, it's just to me if you could follow up with a great opener with a even better second song, right away I know the album's going to be great.
Definitely, this song is very catchy.
It's
If there was a video that was Try Not to Clap Along Impossible Edition, just play the first like 15 seconds of this song. Really, just like every time you hear that, you just got to stop whatever you're doing. And I really like Elliot Easton's like country sounding guitar solo on this because it comes out of nowhere with all these like it's really like clean tone, almost rockabilly licks on a pop song. Like this is it sounds 80s, but it came out 2 years early in the 70s, 78. But hearing a rockabilly guitar solo and like rockabilly guitar licks on like a synth pop song, who does that? I don't think anybody really sounds like the Cars.
Not really.
I agree. Do you feel like the song? It sounds a little bit like Jesse's Girl to me. I don't know if it's just me that
has a similar vibe. I think. Yeah.
Similar vibe to it, doesn't it?
Even lyrically, I think they're very similar.
Dun 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 dun. Whatever that guitar part. Yeah, I was like, it's like Jesse's Girl. It has a similar lyrics to it. My best friend girl, like wanting the girl, or I guess maybe girl broke up with him and went out with his best friend, which that's gotta be awkward. Kind of thing, but yeah,
definitely
the catchiest song on here. I think the especially with the chorus. That's the harmonization of the. Friend girl. Dun, dun, I don't know. It's so good.
We didn't even mention the layered vocals on this one where they go, "Here she comes again," and it just like hits you like a wall with how many times they overdub their voice on that part.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like after like just it's like with Queen with the vocals, it's like crazy. Like it's almost like a Killer Queen thing with the harmonies. It's great.
Yeah.
Another classic song. All right, ready to move on to track 3?
Yes,
I'm ready.
All right, just what I needed.
I like it a lot, but it definitely got really old after listening to it a bunch of times on the radio. Yeah, it's great, but to me, it's probably the weakest track on the album.
Oh my god!
Funny you say that because
one of my favorites.
That's actually my favorite song on the album. It's actually
me too.
Probably my favorite Cars song. Period.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So this was written. So yeah, this was written by Benjamin Orr, and he also sung leads on this one. And yeah, Benjamin Orr and Rick Ocasek, their voices are kind of similar, but
are they similar?
If you listen carefully, you can hear differences. I think Ben has a more like classic sounding voice. Rick has a more quirk to him.
If it sounds like oh, then it's Rick, and if it sounds like this, then it's Ben.
Yeah,
there's a quirkiness to it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's actually the intro to this song was actually inspired by a different song. It was a song called "Yummy Yummy Yummy" by a band called Ohio Express, and I actually went and listened to it, and yes, it's very similar to the like almost the same intro. Almost
that name though, Ohio Express.
Yeah, I know.
One name I have.
But yeah, it was the first single on the album, and for good reason. I just love the catchiness. It's very rocking. I love the synth line on this song, and it's just the chorus just so powerful when it kicks in. It goes in that like that little guitar riff, like da 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 da, and then it just goes right into it. It's just so fantastic, and the keyboard solo towards the end is also really cool. So yeah, it's my favorite song on this album not by far, but still. in terms of Cars, it's my favorite Cars song.
Oh. To me, it just the radio ruined it. It destroyed the song. That's the only reason. Is the radio in general just destroys great songs like Tom Sawyer, Stairway to Heaven. This song, I could name a ton of songs that the radio destroyed. Every Breath You Take, like so many songs they destroyed because of overplaying it and leaving out a bunch of other better songs.
I really enjoy this song.
Sorry.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm with Bryer. This intro, and Garrett talked about it already, is another great intro with that guitar coming in. I don't know how they come up with this, but it's simple, but yet so effective. Just that guitar all of a sudden just hitting you dun dun with those two beats, and it's like, oh my god, that's so good. It has really probably made the best guitar solo on the album. It has a really good guitar solo in it. Yeah, and just the chorus, that's just what I needed. The backing vocals just really make the song. You're just what I needed, just what I needed.
I will say it's very ahead of its time. This song, like when I first heard it, I didn't know it was the Cars. I thought it was a '90s like punk song. So when it got to the part, it was like, dun, 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 I'm like, this sounds like I knew it wasn't Nirvana, but it had like a Nirvana-ish feel. So, and it was '78, so this song was like really ahead of its time, really.
Yeah.
So that's something I will always give credit where credit is due. So even though I think it's the weakest song, I'm not saying it's crap. I'm not saying it's boring. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying it's my least favorite off the album. But I will say it's very ahead of its time.
What I really like about this song is just the whole vibe of it, just how catchy it is. That intro that you guys were talking about, the bum 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 bum. And then I already talked about the guitar solo. This is like one of my favorite guitar solos ever, in which it's very underrated. It's probably better than a lot of more technically difficult guitar solos just because of how well crafted it is. And one thing that I didn't realize until I was watching if you guys know the YouTuber Rick Beato, he did a What Makes This Song Great about this song. And he showed that the drummer switches up the drum pattern on the final verse. Whenever the drummer is playing the rest of the song, he emphasizes beats 2 and 4, like 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then in the last verse, he emphasizes beats 1 and 3. So it's like, I don't mind you coming here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is really weird. But it like just I like never noticed that, and then whenever I listen to it again, it's like that's really smart, and it changes how the whole song feels. Anyway, the meeting is ending in 10 minutes, and we're 3 songs in.
Yeah, crazy. We have so much to say about this album.
Well, these first 3 songs, I mean, this is 3 songs to start an album.
All killer, no filler.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh.
Let's try to do one more song and then we can switch over, because I think that like there's 8 songs on the album, so we'll do number 4 and then we can
9. I think 9.
Oh, yeah, 9. Oh, it's all right. We'll just go through 4.
This would be a pretty cool video. This would be a cool track versus track video. We'll say that. Who's next versus the Cars?
Don't make me. That's near impossible.
I just an idea that's floating around, but yeah. Next song, I'm in Touch with Your World. One of my favorites off the album. This is one of the 3 deep cuts on the album. This All Mixed Up and Don't You Stop, and this is the one of the 2 songs that one of the 2 out of 3 songs that I said that at first I'm like, what the hell is this? But now it was like one of my 2 favorite songs on the album, and I love this track. It's so weird. It's so I remember it was like with that diplomatic treatment. It was like I know everyone else is who's reviewing this with me is gonna be like, nah, this is my least favorite, but it's one of my favorites. I love it. It's so weird. It's so different. It's so much different from the rest of the album. It's so that's why I love it. It's so different, and I love it.
This is not my least favorite song on the album.
Oh, really?
I actually really like the song now. When I first heard it, I was like, because you're like, oh yeah, let the good times roll. My best friend's girl, just what I need. I wonder what's up next. And then, I'm in touch with your world. I was like, what these weird sound effects? What the heck is this? This is experimental and like really odd. But then, like the more I listened to it, it started becoming like it went from weird to cool weird. And then when the guitar comes in on that bow bow do 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 bow bow do 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 do, and then it goes back to the do 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 do. I don't know. It's a weird song, but it's like weird in a cool way. And one thing I think is really interesting about this song is the line everything is science fiction was actually originally just everything you say is fiction. But the keyboard player thought, you know what would be cool is if we changed it to everything is science fiction, and then I played a little ray gun sound effect on my keyboard. So that's where they got that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just love the sound of the guitar on here. The bum bum bum, da 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 da. Oh, it's very unusual but unique at the same time, so it stands out of the song. It's still a good song. It's not one of the top ones, but
Is
I
it your
still
least favorite?
enjoy the song.
And you get like the saxophone coming in at random places, like.
Oh, I
Is there
love
anyone that thinks it's their least favorite? Because I feel like there's gonna be one person that says that. Yep, I had to feel like there's gonna be one
Is
person
it
that.
Yeah,
this,
that's
this
yeah,
is too weird for the. I understand because at first I was in your same boat when I first heard it like the first 3 times. I'm like, this is too weird for the rest of the album. I hate it. This is the worst song.
I will say though, I don't hate it. I don't like. I pretty much enjoy every song on here, but you know, when we're ranking the songs, one song has to be in the bottom, and that song just happened to be there. I don't hate it. I will say, I will admit, I did that. It was very weird. It's definitely the most strangest song on the album, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
again, the more you hear it, you kind of get used to the weirdness, and so you kind of accept it. And so I still very much think it's a very very interesting song. And this is actually one of the keyboards' favorite song. Or I mean, makes sense with all the synths on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one song from Candio that's even weirder than it, and I like it
Was
better.
that the song that like leads into Candio where they're just like shouting?
I think it's, yeah, I think so. Yeah, Shooby Doo, and
That song was pretty much just in like an intro, I think.
yeah, and I like it as in true. That's what it reminds me of though. It's like that song is like even weirder than that though. Like they have like a bunch of songs that's like so weird and different, and this is like the only like non-commercial sounding song on the album.
All right, Don't You Stop.
My least favorite song on the album. Definitely the weakest track on the album. I could see why Bryer says the last track we were talking about is the weakest, but this to me is the ultimate weakest song on the album.
Yeah, it's like second to last.
It's very repetitive. It grew on me over time. This is like the second out of 3 deep cuts on the album, and I could definitely see why it's a deep cut though, because it's very commercial sounding, but I could see why it's obscure and not as popular as the rest of the 6 tracks that became a hit.
For me, like the chorus is just kind of annoying. We're just like, don't you stop. The organ bow, 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 bow.
Drumming was good though.
Yeah, the drumming's great. And I mean, if a chain is only as good as its weakest link, then you still got a pretty good album here. If this is the worst song on the album,
Right.
but
Just repetitive.
as someone who has to be overly critical of music for reviews, this is the worst song on the album. Worst subjectively, still better than a lot of songs, but just not quite as good as some of the other stuff on the album.
Yeah, it sounds like we agree. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is one of the heavier songs, but yeah, like you said, like the chorus is kind of hit or miss. It is very repetitive. Like I said before, it's like second to last for me. So it's not bad, but again, not one of the stronger songs.
No.
And that's the end of side 1 too. I'm like, how can they end side 1 with that? Like they have like 4 amazing tracks, and then they have this dud. You know,
probably because if not, they'd have had to put it as the starter of side 2.
Still though, it's like they should have just kept it at 8 tracks, and it would have been
better.
Yeah. Actually, honestly, when I listen to this album, sometimes I'll skip past it because I want to get to the good stuff.
I want to get to the 4-song medley.
Yeah, these last 4 songs are something else.
Yeah. To me, it's up there with like Abbey Road. That's how good it is.
Reminds me a lot of Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Tears B-side, which is another album we need to review on the channel. That might be one of the next ones we do, but it has a B-side medley very similar where all the songs kind of flow into each other. But moving ahead to You're All I've Got Tonight.
You're All I've Got Tonight.
This is a great way to start off the B-side with the drums have like the flanging effect, like a
it's just
and then the
drums.
guitar.
Then the harmonies come in,
Yes.
and I'm like, when I first heard that, and I'm just like, wow, like this song basically converted me into a Cars fan. As
This is the heaviest song on the album. Bryer was talking
Yeah.
about heavy songs. This is the
And
heaviest song on the album with the drums and
Yeah.
the guitar.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then you get to the chorus with the synthesizer that like hooks you in with the that part gets stuck in your head. Catchy chorus. It
Yeah,
just
the
this is
chorus.
another great song.
Yeah, the chorus is just another one of those things that I kept playing in my head because of just how catchy it is. Just how it goes, just the melody to it. It's just, oh man, I just love it's another one of my favorite songs on here. It's probably my second favorite, honestly. But yeah, just a great rock song on here. And then even the little touches, like flourishes from the keyboard, just really good touch to it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I think the drumming is maybe my favorite part of this whole song. It's the best drumming of the whole album. And it's just got a great beat to it. Just tun, 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 tun. I love songs with just a really good beat to it. It doesn't have to be flashy drumming, just that beat just like sometimes hooks me in. And I think my favorite part of the song, I love the song, is the guitar is incredible. It does this thing, and I don't know, Garrett can maybe tell me the technical. I want to say he uses like a vibration on the guitar string because he goes, you have I got tonight, and it has like this little vibration thing.
Oh, it's a trill.
Okay.
He
I love
has one note that he's holding with his finger. Then I don't want to use this finger because it'll look like I'm making a crude gesture to you. But
Right.
I'll do it with this one. That you're holding the note here, and then this hand, he's like doing that. It's called a trill.
Trill. Okay, I love the trill. Like he does it like twice. He's like, and he goes like tonight, something tonight, and I'm like, oh, I love that. That just really adds to it.
great touch. And then just and it's great how like this song going to the next song is great, but then like the next song going to the moving in stereo to me will always we'll get into that, but yeah, it's so good. And
Yeah.
I feel like if I owned a radio station, I would definitely do these 4 tracks back to back.
Okay. Yeah.
And look, if I owned a radio station, we'd be having Classic Album Friday, and then like you get side 1 followed by 10 minutes of commercials, and then side 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next song, which is also amazing. Bye Bye Love. Not to be confused with the Simon and Garfunkel Everly Brothers
I love
cover.
Yeah. I think of the Everly Brothers. That's what I always think of.
Bye Bye Love.
Bye,
This song just like it's like tonight, and then just you get into the song. It's just like yeah, I'm feeling it. Like I just like how the song starts with the so good, really good. The whole song's. I want to say a lot of stuff about it, but like there's a lot of stuff that I want to say that a lot of people already said about it, about this about these amazing songs. But yeah, I really enjoy this song.
Yeah, this is definitely a good way to kind of start this like medley section. I feel like the bass is a bit more prominent on this particular song. And of course, as a bass player myself, yeah, I'm always listening out for stuff. So I really enjoy that about this song.
Yeah, I don't know if I pay attention to the bass as much on this album as I do mostly the guitar and the drums.
I need to pay more attention to the bass on this album. I don't think I've actually ever paid attention to it before.
Yeah, the bass playing for the most part is pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated. Like I've definitely tried playing some of them. Yeah, they're not that complicated. But on this particular song, you definitely hear it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
What
I love the song is the chorus. It goes, they go, bye, bye, love. And then when they go again, the singer sings a little higher. He sings like an octave higher. So he goes, bye, bye, love. And the other ones go, bye, bye, love. Oh, man, it sounds so great. I love it because it just changes it up just a little bit. And yeah, just really, really good chorus.
Jason was talking about like hooks earlier, and the ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da is definitely like one of those hooks that gets you in, and then it just starts right from there, like the bounce, bounce, and then I think this is where the bass comes in, because I remember the bass like do 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 do.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it is ingrained in my head. I just forgot about it.
Yeah.
It's like once I hear the ba da 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 boom boom, and then the bass do do do. But I know Nick was talking about how all the songs on this B-side kind of flow into each other, and the transition is really amazing because it's just like ba da 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 da.
It becomes spacious. Like
Yeah.
the next song is just you I feel like, well, especially with headphones, it just feels like a lot of people say this about Pink Floyd, about their songs, like how you feel like you're in space. Like when I first heard this on headphones, I'm like, I feel like I was floating in outer space.
Oh yeah, moving in stereo.
Oh, easily, like my third favorite song on the album, easily. It's so strong, and they play this on the radio a lot, but this is like one of the rare cases where they could play it on the radio a lot, and I don't care. It's just that's how good it is.
If you're gonna play this song, though, you have to play all mixed up afterward.
They never do.
The transition. Okay, someone played which song was it? They played "Breathe" by Pink Floyd on the radio one time when I was listening, and it was like, no, you can't just play the first song on Dark Side of the Moon because it makes you want to hear the rest of the album, because it even heard the do 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 do, and then it faded out. I may have told that story before, but every time we talk about songs that need to be like played in sequence,
it aggravates me. It's like, well, people like same with concept albums, like they play like Pinball Wizard a lot, and I'm like, it's like if you took a book and you opened it to a random chapter and read that part, and then just closed the book and put it away. That's how I feel with Pinball Wizard, and that's how I feel with The Wall too. Like they play Hey You, and it's like grabbing a random book and being like it's like taking like an amazing book with great story, and then like you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna read this one chapter of the book, and then
showing a cool scene from a movie that might maybe make sense to an audience, and being like, well, yeah, that's a pretty good movie scene, but it's like, well, you haven't seen the rest of the movie.
Yep. That's how I feel with Tommy and The Wall. It's like they play like a certain section of it, but then like they just throw it all away and then play the next whatever radio.
At least the same radio station played The Happiest Days of Our Lives before Another Brick in the Wall. They at least played those two songs back to back.
Yeah, those are great back-to-back songs.
Anyway, I noticed Another Brick in the Wall has like 3 parts to it as well. So
oh yeah, there's 3 different parts to it. Then the second part is the famous disco infused one.
Yeah.
The first one is just kind of like a quieter version that leads into the second part.
Yeah.
And the third part is like in the story is like him basically losing his crap and being like, I'm closing myself off from the world.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would review The Wall if you guys would do that.
I reviewed The Wall on my channel before, but I think that would probably be one of the first ones on the redo series, because it's a very good album to dig into. I'd probably want to do Dark Side of the Moon or Wish You Were Here first, but I'll definitely put that on the list.
Listen to Animals as well, because that's part of that 4 album. Like,
oh, and I listened to Echoes again today, and Metal is definitely one we need to review, because there's a lot to review just in Echoes.
Yeah. Like I can make like a 10-minute series of why Echoes is so good.
Yeah. Anyway, back to moving in stereo. The synth is the real star of this one, with that line that just hooks you in the boom 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 boom.
Yeah, they just have that great drum beat throughout. Just really drives the whole song.
And the drums are so crisp on this song. And again, that's Roy Thomas Baker's production there, but I don't know what he did to that drum to get it so crisp, but it's like with the synth line under that. And then Nick was talking about how like the stereo effects, which very fitting for a song called Moving in Stereo. But
the vocals move in stereo.
It's like life's the same.
One of the most
stereo, life the same. Except for my shoes.
One of the most unique things ever in
rock history. Tremolo. Life's the same. It's all inside you.
I will always say that, like, that one of the most unique things in rock history is that thing. Like, No bands have done it before. Like they have like we were talking about that in Odkins Nook on Flake Review, how like the drums will go back and forth, but like I've never heard it on with vocals before. Like I've never
Yeah.
I've heard it with Sheer Heart Attack before with
Like Bohemian Rhapsody has like easy come, easy go, little
but, like,
high, little low.
like I haven't heard a band that did it so well. Like I've heard Queen do it on the Sheer Heart Attack album with the In the Laps of the Gods when the vocals were, I think it was that. It was I could be wrong though.
And also the Prophet song also played around with that.
Oh
yeah, with the vocals.
And the Seven Seas of Rye does it as well, where it goes forever, ever, and then it comes in the middle. Or I don't want to do my bad Roger Taylor scream impression.
It's funny. Roger Taylor could have like the most lowest rocking vocals, and then he could have like the vocals of an opera singer.
But yeah, for every bad Beatles stereo mix, vocals one side, instruments on the other, you have a stereo masterpiece like this.
Oh my, yeah, I've Beatles in stereo in the I don't even want to think.
Until you get to the White Album. The White Album is where they actually start doing good with that.
Yeah, 1968 is like the first year where stereo was like really good.
Yeah, well, 67 is kind of half and half because you got like Jimi Hendrix. That one's better in stereo. The Who Sell Out is better in stereo.
Yeah,
there's some other ones in 1967 that are good in stereo as well.
The Evolution album isn't that bad in stereo. It's still, to me, it's better in mono. I have an original mono copy, but yeah.
I'm trying to think of other 1967 albums that are better in stereo. It'll come to me later.
Yeah, probably during our discussion afterwards.
Yeah. Anyway, or however that transition goes.
Yeah, my favorite song on the album.
All mixed up.
My favorite song on the album. I get so aggravated when it gets to that build up, and then I hear some stupid other radio song like "Walk This Way" or whatever come on. I'm like you can't do that. Just play All Mixed Up. Like, come on. Like,
no, it's like it needs to happen after that.
I know, and like they're afraid, like people are like, "Oh, this is unfamiliar. I'm switching it off." Like, screw those people.
Yeah, and what I love about this is like it starts out very slow, but it just keeps building and building, and then it just pretty much closes out with this amazing saxophone solo, which was actually done by Greg Hawkes, the keyboard player, because he actually know how to play saxophone. And yeah, it's just a great way to close out the album. I think it's one of my favorite songs on this album. I'll reveal where it is when we talk about our top 5, but yeah, it's definitely a great closing song.
Yeah, but like this is the third out of the 3 deep cuts, and to me, it's outrageous. This is a deep cut. This isn't on any of the greatest hits albums. Like that's and it's never played on the radio where I live, and it's frustrating. It really
also,
is.
Have you ever tried to listen to this album on Spotify? All of the transitions are messed up, especially this one. It has moving in stereo. Moving in stereo fades out, and then this one fades back in, and there's a big cut in the middle. It's like, you messed up that transition big time.
Yeah, that's why you either listen to it on Apple Music or
this way. This way is the best way. Or I guess that way is good too.
Yeah, CD's pretty good too.
Or tape. If any of you still use cassette tape.
Cassette
oh
tape,
my god! I actually have a few cassette tapes. I have Guns N' Roses in Lies. I have Metallica, a few of them. I have I think I have like 4 or 5 Queen albums on cassette.
I have one cassette that I took from my mom's collection. U2's The Joshua Tree, and that's the only cassette tape I have.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just because I saw it in there, and I'm like, oh,
you all have better. Yeah, you all have better ones. All you have is like Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm like, what am I gonna do with that?
I'll say I have Day at the Races, News of the World, The Works.
Well, the thing about cassette tapes is that the track order sometimes can get, pun intended, all mixed up.
Yeah,
because they want the sides to be even.
Not like that, but like I was listening to because I actually have an ABBA tape of The Visitors, and they have like the track listing on that album's mixed up. Doesn't have like the sequencing isn't right. I'm like they have like Dum Dum Diddle after Dancing Queen instead of My Love My Life or whatever. I'm just like, that's not the next song, but whatever.
It's funny because I had Bing Crosby's Christmas album on cassette tape growing up, and so whenever we got the CD, and then now that I have the record, like having the order switched was really weird because I had the cassette running order ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, it happens.
Anyway, All Mixed Up is a great song. That saxophone solo just kind of comes out of nowhere, but it's a really nice touch. It's a great way to end the album, which brings us to top 5 and overall score. Oh, there's the police.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I was just looking at my police record, but my
Someone
Yeah.
coming in.
my 10-inch we're gonna debunk, but
Giant steps are what you take. Walking on the moon.
Okay. My 5 favorite songs from the Cars album. Well, yeah, 5 would be My Best Friend's Girl. Love that track. And then the other one, number 4 would be Bye Bye Love. Number 3 would be Moving in Stereo. Number 2, I would say I'm in Touch with Your World, which that's like the highest anyone here is going to be ranking that song. I could already do that. And my favorite song off the album is All Mixed Up.
Wow, you left some big ones out there.
I know. I'm not. I'm like I said. I'm a deep cut guy, but
You're a deep cut guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it was the Trippy Hippie, he would say "Don't You Stop" is his favorite song. But yeah.
You know, he needs to make an appearance again. I might talk to him and see if he'd be willing to make another video. But he got pretty mad after I had him do the Jim Croce video.
So good.
Yeah.
You want to go next, Bryer?
Didn't Nick say wait?
Oh, yeah,
wait, wait?
it's a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
That's
Okay,
actually
so-
a very fitting score for this album.
Yeah, I can't rate it any lower. I can't. Probably
Yeah.
at least my top 50 albums of all time. That's how good it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll go next. So number 5 for me is going to be Good Times Roll. Number 4 would be My Best Friend's Girl. Number 3 will be All Mixed Up. Number 2 will be You're All I Got Tonight. And my number 1 is going to be Just What I Needed. Yeah, this is an album that to me gets better the more you hear it. Because again, when I first heard it, I was like, "It's pretty good. I like it." Like so much so, I dismissed the Cars for so long. To this day, my mom still thinks I hate the Cars, and I always have to correct her. Like, no, I don't hate the Cars. But yeah, it's very much an album that grows on you the more you hear it. So right now, it can honestly be higher, but right now I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10.
That's a pretty good ranking.
Yeah.
All right. My number 5 is, man, there's 2 songs I'm debating. I'm going to go with this one. People are going to get upset that I didn't choose the other one, but I'm going to go with Moving in Stereo. Really amazing song. It was between that and Let the Good Times Roll, but I think I'm going to go with Moving in Stereo just by a tad, even though I love both those songs. Number 4, I'm going to go with another one where I'm debating which order to put these in, but as of today, I'm going to go with Bye Bye Love. Number 3, I am going to go with You're All I've Got Tonight. Number 2, My Best Friend's Girl. And number 1, Just What I Needed. And I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10 because it's that good. If it wasn't for, what's the name of that song? Don't You Stop. It might actually be like a 9.75 or even, dare I say, a 10 out of 10.
Right.
But that brings it down to a 9.5.
Can I say the cover like kind of almost gives me nightmares?
I hate the album cover. One of the worst
Yeah.
albums. It's one of
I
those
think the drummer said he doesn't like the cover either.
people.
They could have had this be the cover.
Yeah, much better
yeah.
cover. People say don't judge a book by its cover. I say don't judge an album by its album cover. For the longest time, I didn't listen to the Cars because of how atrocious that album cover was. But yeah, don't let the album cover deceive you. It's a good album.
Like Breyer's talking about the album News of the World
With
and,
the robot.
in Family Guy, there's a whole episode about how he gives Stewie nightmares. Like he has nightmares about that robot. Anyways, and that's me with this album. Like I have nightmares of that girl because her smile is just something weird about it. I don't know what it is. It's just
Maniacal.
It's like the Joker smile or something. I don't know. But anyways,
I
number
think
5.
that you're wild when you flash that fragile smile.
Number 5, I got
No, I was saying Candy O's album cover is even worse, honestly.
Candy O is another one.
Like I see that album cover, I'm like I was looking through the album covers and I'm like, oh, these album covers are so bad. Like
the Cars don't really have the greatest album covers.
Yeah, like they're not the Beatles. They definitely ain't the Hollies with the album covers to me. They're no Led Zeppelin, they're no The Who. They can't do album covers.
All right, we need to let Jason do his top 5.
Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Most apologize, mate.
Man, my top 4 is like they almost are tied for number 1. They're so good. It's almost really hard for me to differentiate them. But I'm gonna go with number 4. I'm gonna go with My Best Friend's Girl. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Just What I Needed. Number 2, You're All I've Got Tonight. And then number 1, Good Times Roll. It's just an amazing opener.
All right, and then the score out of 10.
Oh, and then 9 out of 10. Yeah, really strong album.
All right.
The highest.
General
Bryer?
Mine was 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bryer was 9.
2 9s, a 9.5, and a 10. So
10, yeah.
generally positive reviews from this one.
So what's the average there? Like 9.5 or?
I think the average would be like
Somewhere.
9.25 or something like that.
Yeah. Pretty
Anyway,
good.
and this is actually an album. I know I've kind of digitally inserted some albums into my last few videos, but this one is real. I actually have this one.
Oh yeah, I just noticed, Jason, your Deja Vu album cover in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to buy that album cover. I mean, I need to buy that album. I mean, I really need that album, but
Yeah.
I saw 2 or 3 copies of that at the record store last time I went.
yeah, I don't really see much. I see like so many copies of American Dream, and I'm just like, that album is so bad. Like, why can't it be Deja Vu?
So many just want to get rid of it,
Yeah.
Like, get rid of American Dream. Like, if I had enough money, I'll buy all the copies and burn them. That's how bad that album is.
And that's Nick's George Lucas impression. That's with the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah. If I could buy all the copies of American Dream and just like burn them all, like just like make like a big bonfire. Same with Summer in Paradise and Mardi Gras. Just take like a big pile and just burn them all. Like
if those albums just happen to slip out of existence.
Yeah, I can't stand like remove it from like digital media and like just the album. Like Crosby, Stills and Nash only released one album, and that's Deja Vu. Like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young only released one album, that's Deja Vu.
Yeah.
No American Dream. That album doesn't exist.
Thank you guys for watching our review today. It's very fun talking with you guys about this great album. We will see you next time.